Hello, my friends. Welcome to another edition of The G.L.E.N.N Show. Yes, ridiculous nincompoopery. Episode 4. Yep, that's right. Here we are on our virtual commute. You know, traffic's still light. Most people are staying home. I'm just sitting here in my car pretending to commute for 90 minutes to the city in traffic. To go 18 miles for 90 minutes. But I'm not really going anywhere, as I've said in earlier episodes. I'm just sitting here in the car pretending to commute and talk to you folks. And the good thing is I haven't really gotten any red lights today, which reminds me, you've probably seen the episode of Taxi, the sitcom, and this guy Jim is taking he's taking a test, and the other characters from the show are standing there, and he doesn't know what does a yellow light mean, and he's trying to like get help on the test, and he goes, what does a yellow light mean? And the other character of the show goes, slow down. But he's trying not to like get caught that he's giving him an answer to the test. And Jim's like, what does a yellow light mean? And the guy goes, slow down. And Jim's like, what? Duh. It's ridiculous. I'm sure you've seen it 100 times, but it's one of my favorite episodes. Yep. Speaking of other nincompoopery, there's a lot of these signs everywhere telling us obvious things to do, like, wash your hands with soap. Well, thanks, Mom. You know, you don't know that? You need a big highway LED sign to tell us to wash our hands with soap? I mean, what else? Is it going to tell us, hey, don't forget to breathe? You know, if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. I saw that sign. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Oh, geez Louise. There's another sign. Don't forget to eat your vegetables. Oh, potholes. Woo. I wish the sign said like, hey, it's Monday night. Don't forget to put the trash out. That would be more helpful than wash your hands with soap. Whew. I just saw a murder wasp or something, whatever those things are called. I thought I just saw one. One time I was driving and a bee flew in and hit me right in the face. And then I'm like, is the thing in my lap? Where is the bee? Ah! Can you imagine if a murder wasp like flew in the window and smacked you? Oh my God, I would crash. Whew. Be careful. So this next song, I'm calling Murder Wasp Crime Scene. It's really a mess. And the way I put it together was I gave Magic this techno song. I said, hey, listen to this techno song for inspiration, and then just play some drums, and then send the drum track to me, and I'll see what I can do. So he did that, and then I added a whole bunch of ridiculous sound effects, and some guitar, and some Moog synthesizer, and it just fell together. It's kind of ridiculous, but for whatever reason, it reminded me of like, a bee sting, or in this case, a murderous wasp scene. So check it out. What do you think? I got some reviews of that song, and the reviews were not good. I don't know, I kind of like it, but the reviews were, what is that? I don't get it. Why would you waste your time on that? And the other review doesn't make much sense, but when are you going back to work? Anyway, I hope you liked it.
This guy retires, and he's always wanted a Corvette. And so he buys himself a really expensive classic Corvette. And with lack of traffic on the road today, he takes it out on Route 80, brings it up to about 75, 80 miles an hour. He's cruising along 80, brings it up to 90, 95. He finally gets up to 100. He's just tooling along. He goes flying by a state trooper. A trooper pulls out behind him and chases him. And the guy says, well, I'm going to get a ticket. I might as well see how fast he can go. Brings it up to 125. And he says, wait a minute, what am I, crazy? I'm driving a $200,000 Corvette. I'm going to wreck it. So he pulls over. The trooper pulls over behind him, gets out of his car, walks up next to the Corvette and says to the guy, tell you what, he says, I get off my shift in 30 minutes. He says, then I start a month-long vacation. He says, if you can give me an excuse of why you were speeding that I've never heard before, I'll let you go. So the guy thinks for a minute. He says, well, he says, I saw you when I went past. He says, and I saw you pull out and start chasing me. He says, and as close as you got, I started thinking about it. And I was worried that my wife, who ran away with a state trooper 10 years ago, and the state trooper was bringing her back. And the trooper said to him, on your way, have a nice day. End of story.
It always makes me happy when I find a guitar pick. So I know I keep bringing up this, my 600-pound life show. Maybe you've seen it by now. Anyway, this doctor...
If you don't listen to what I've told you to do, then you're not going to lose your weight and get down to a healthy weight.
This guy's voice, now I've realized, it's almost like a voice from South Park. Like,
Yeah, who killed Kenny?
so now, when I walk in the room and Janice is watching my 600-pound life, all I think is,
Who killed Kenny?
so like every show I'm watching now gets interrupted by a breaking news story. The mayor, the governor, the other governor, the president. It's like every show. It's like if I wanted to watch the news, I'd be watching the news channel, but I'm trying to watch this show. Anyway, so you watch the news and they, I'm just saying, like sometimes it says an unarmed man. Unarmed man. The first thing that comes to mind when I hear unarmed man is Monty Python and that knight jumping around with no arms. I've got no... What do you mean? I'm an unarmed man. I'm sorry. I crack myself up. I'll be here all day. Actually, just for 90 minutes. But you'll see a lot less. Here's my dad with another dad joke.
We used to do a lot of skiing, and back in the 90s, and we were really enamored with one of the best skiers, best women skiers. She won a gold medal in the 1998 Olympics and several medals after that also, and her name was Peekaboo Street. So Peekaboo Street was a great downhill skier, a ski racer, won a lot of medals. But a lot of people don't know that after she retired from skiing, she went into the medical profession. And she graduated as a registered nurse, and she became a nurse out in Colorado. And she worked in the intensive care unit. And the only thing that was a detriment to her was when she worked in intensive care, a lot of times people would just call down to intensive care to have her answer the phone, because the way she answered the phone was, "Peekaboo, I see you, bada boom boom."
Thanks, Dad. So now this song is called The Last Drag. Now, this is a 45 my parents had that I listened to all the time when I was a kid. I loved this song. It's by the Voxpoppers. And it's, you know, it's like good old rock and roll, basic rock and roll. And so I covered it with my friend Magic and Kieran, and I hope you like it.
Me and my baby went out for a ride. We rode together, side by side. We stopped for a light. Our poles is old. My baby said to me, let's drag down the road. And then the light changed, and I pulled out in hers. But when I shifted it a second, my car exploded with a burn. To a stop. We took a look for that old. All we saw was two lights a mile down the road. My baby said to me, I thought the motor was alright. I said it seemed that way, but the pistons were too tight. And that's the story of my hot rod car. So if you ever raise your hot rod, make sure it's running up to par.
Now I've edited this song together with some clips of the 66 Nova. So my relative in Austria, Sabrina, she's dating this guy, Benjamin, and he and his dad and their uncle have this 66 Nova Chevy that they drag race in Austria. Well, last summer, they shipped the car to Newark, New Jersey, so they could partake in 6 drag races. They shipped the car from Austria just for 6 drag races, but it was a very unique kind of thing where they had to drive the car with everything they needed in it to each racetrack. And it was really kind of a cool competition. It was, I believe, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, and then back to Virginia. And they were able to complete all the races. They had lots of challenges, but so I put some footage of their 66 Nova, which is such a really cool hot rod.
Oh, hello. So Albert Einstein and Benjamin Franklin go camping. And they set up their tent, get everything ready for the night, unpack all their gear. And then night comes in, so they decide they're going to go in the tent to go to sleep. So they go in the tent, fall asleep. In the middle of the night, Benjamin Franklin wakes up and he realizes he can see the stars. So he says, Albert, he wakes up Albert Einstein. He says, Albert, I can see the stars. And Albert says, of course you can see the stars. He says, the sun reflects on the stars glow. He says, it's a very clear atmosphere. He starts giving him all the technical reasons he can see this. He can see the stars. And Benjamin Franklin says, no, Albert, you idiot. Somebody stole our tent. Boom, boom.
If you've ever had Janice's blueberry pie, you know it's awesome. So here's a quick video about Janice making the blueberry pie based on her mother's recipe. So first, it's basically a 2-part recipe. So first thing, you get 4 cups of blueberries, and you use half of them in this pot. So that'd be 2 cups of blueberries, and 2 cups of sugar, and 2/3 of a cup of water. Now, it says 2 cups of sugar, but if the blueberries are really sweet, you only use half as much sugar. So we're only using half as much sugar. And you'll notice that this looks a lot more. So we're actually making a triple recipe here, because we'll make this triple recipe and then we can freeze enough for 2 more pies later. So now we're going to bring this to a boil and let it boil down Then we have to strain it and then let it cool. The blueberries have boiled down for about 10 minutes, and now we're going to strain them. After the blueberries have been strained. After the blueberries have been strained, we put the pot in cold water in the sink so that the whole mixture cools much faster, and stir it every once in a while to help it cool. Next, we're going to take 2 very heaping tablespoons of cornstarch. We'll mix that with just a little bit of water, just to make that into a little liquidy cornstarch mix. Then we stir up the cornstarch water mix into our strained blueberries. Stir it constantly, and we have this on medium-high. We do this until it thickens and bubbles. You want to cook until this boils about 2 minutes. Now we have to let this cool again, because if you put the blueberries into this mixture for the pie, the raw blueberries will burst and the pie will be very watery. When the thickened blueberry mixture has cooled to approximately room temperature, you mix it with fresh, cleaned blueberries, the other 2 cups that we had from the beginning. Gently mix this up so you don't break the blueberries. And then we're going to put it into the graham cracker pie shell, and we'll have to let it cool and coagulate in the fridge, and then we'll eat it with some whipped cream. There you have it, the best blueberry pie in the world.
So what happens is there's this guy driving down a country road in his car, and all of a sudden he gets a flat tire, and he pulls over to the side of the road, thump, 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 and he parks over as close to this big iron fence as he can to get off the road. And he looks up, and behind the iron fence is this big old building, and there's a sign that says Insane Asylum. So he looks around, he doesn't see anybody initially, he opens his trunk, he gets a spare tire out, he gets the lug wrench, he starts to take the lug nuts off the tire, puts them in his hubcap on the side of the road, goes to get the spare tire. One car comes flying by, hits the hubcap, and sends the lug nuts flying off into the woods where he's never going to find them. He looks around exasperated. Now behind the fence he sees a guy standing there. That's between the fence and the big building that says Insane Asylum. And this guy just shakes his head, and the guy behind the fence says, wow, he says, that's terrible. So he says, yeah, what am I going to do now? He says, I got the tire, got the car jacked up. He says, I have no way to put my spare tire on. The lug nuts are all gone. So the guy behind the fence says to him, well, why don't you take the other 3 hubcaps off? Take your lug wrench, take 1 lug nut off the other 3 tires. Those 3 tires will still be good. Then you'll have 3 lug nuts, and you'll be able to put the spare tire on, and you'll be on your way. So the guy says to him, what a great idea. He says, I'm going to do that. He says, aren't you one of the residents here in the Insane Asylum? And the guy looks at him and says, listen, buddy. He says, I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. Bada boom boom.
I like when you see the fog on the horizon.
listen to my advice. Don't try very hard to please me. With what you know should be easy. Well, this could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. Oh no. I'm sorry, girl, but I can't stay. Feeling like I do today. There's too much pain, too much sorrow. Guess I'll feel the same tomorrow. Well, this could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. Oh no. This could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. Oh no. Oh no. I told you once and I told you twice. But someone's got to pay the price. Well, here's a chance to change your mind. 'Cause I've been gone a long, long time. Well, this could be the last time. This could be the last time. Maybe the last time. I don't know. Oh no. Oh no. Maybe the last time. Maybe the last time. Maybe the last time. Maybe the last time. Oh no. Last time. Oh no. Oh no. Maybe the last time.
Oh, I think I'm almost there. Nowhere. Well, it's good to be here. It's good to be anywhere. That's what Keith Richards says. And speaking of Keith Richards, my friend Jessica West, well, acquaintance, not a close friend, but I've met her, and she wrote a book about what would Keith Richards do, which is kind of funny. You know, growing up Roman Catholic, we've often said WWJD, what would Jesus do? And then here's this book that comes along, what would Keith Richards do? So I recommend this book. Check it out. It's really good. It's got lots of Keith quotes and Keith, what Keith would do, you know, in certain situations. And it's just a classic, easy read. I recommend it. Check it out. So, you know, I'm not the brightest light in the draw. But anyway, I've come up with a solution to keeping people 6 feet away from me, which complies with the CDC recommendations. So I've been eating lots of beans and lots of dairy and balsamic vinegar. It makes this concoction that you wouldn't believe. Quite explosive. And I've had no problem keeping people 6 feet away from me. It's like a force field. Anyway, it's not, you know, rocket surgery. And I used that line in one of the other episodes, and somebody's like, well, you got that wrong. Well, I got it wrong on purpose. I like mixing up these stupid things. I'm ridiculous, remember? And now the top 11 reasons why you're watching The Glenn Show. That's right, the top 11 reasons. Number 11, your ad here. Well, that's stupid. Who wrote this? Number 10, your remote must be broken and you're too lazy to get up and change the television. Number 9, you lost the bet and you have to watch this ridiculous show. Number 8, you're not actively watching the show, you just clicked on it so I get another view, and you're really doing something else. Well, thanks. Thanks for nothing. Number 7, you fell down the YouTube rabbit hole. That's right. You just started watching some videos, and then the next one popped up, and the next one popped up, and then all of a sudden, there you were watching this other one. Yep, been there, done that. Number 6, you fell asleep with your phone in your hand, and you accidentally clicked on this by mistake. Number 5, you've been kidnapped, and your kidnapper is torturing you, making you watch this crap. Number 4, you're gathering evidence for the court case. Whatever. Number 3, you searched how to make a margarita and you ended up with this crap. Yeah, could be. I probably put margarita as one of the, key words or something from the Glenn Show, the other episode with the margarita recipe, which is a good recipe. Number 2, you actually like this crap. Well, thanks. And number 1, the number 1 reason why you're watching this show, you have really poor taste. That's it. Thanks, folks. The top 11 reasons why you're watching The Glenn Show. Thanks for watching.